Thank you for tuning in once again to his Vine and Fig Tree podcast. My name is Kurt Olson. I'm your host, coming to you on the early evening of June 3rd, 2026. Three things I want to bring to your attention here. The first one deals with some primary elections we just had. Last night, on the 2nd, there were several states that had elections. All of the states have ballots counted except for California. And I don't know why it takes California so long to vote or count ballots, other than to do the obvious, rig an election in favor of Democrats. We're going to see what unfolds here, because right now there are Republicans in the running for both the governors. California has ranked voting. And in California, if two Democrats become the top two candidates, they run against each other. If two Republicans are the top two votes, they run against each other. Right now, Steve Hilton is the top vote getter in the governor's race. Xavier Becerra, former U.S. He represented California in the Congress. I forget which one, House, Senate, maybe both. And he also was Health and Human Services Secretary under Biden. And he is number two right now in the ranked voting in California. Meanwhile, in the LA mayor's race, you have the incumbent mayor Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt, a Republican who has gotten a fair amount of attention because of his very creative ad campaigns and his very bold statements that have come forth related to the uh, aftermath of the LA fires just a few years ago. So that's the situation there. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, get this, folks, get this. A guy with ties to Al Qaeda. Yes, a guy with ties to Al Qaeda won the Democratic nomination in a congressional district in New Jersey. And Adam, I believe it's Hamawi, Hamawy, and could possibly win the seat for Congress. Now, the interesting spin on this is, let's say the Republicans were to retain their majority. They could, if Hamawi wins that congressional district, that congressional seat, they could opt to not seat him. And there's good reason to. Ties to Al Qaeda, testified on the behalf of Omar Abdel Rahman, who was responsible for the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. And it's just sad to see our country think nothing of what happened on 9/11, 2001. And it's going to be very interesting to see the ramifications of all this. Obviously, we got to wait till November. But once again, California has taken forever to count votes. And we have someone with terrorist ties who has won the nomination for a congressional seat in New Jersey. Secondly, Lee Zeldin, he is the head of the EPA under Team Trump 2. He was on Just the News the other day, and he was telling them that he has made criminal referrals to the Department of Justice because of information he's uncovered from the Biden era, where there was self-dealing on payouts to green energy companies. Zeldin stopped a bunch of grants right after he came to office because um, he said it didn't look good, and the more he looked at it, the less he liked. So he's made 8 criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. It will be interesting to see what comes of that. And just another sign of people running our government who lack the necessary character to be making decisions on behalf of the American people. Um, Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about Iran. And so in recent weeks, we've had a fair amount of chatter between Trump 2 and the Iranians who say they're in power. Again, as I've said before, we have a lot of people who have been eliminated by the U.S. and Israel, and who really has power um, really isn't known. But it's believed right now it's the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the IRGC. And they're a faction of the security forces in the country that was created by the Ayatollahs over time, and do the collective bidding of the mullahs. This is what I think is going on. I think Trump desperately wants a negotiated agreement because he doesn't want to be accused of being in a forever war as we approach the midterms. I think that is something that he loathes with all of his being, and he has supporters who are against forever wars. He knows this war is causing gas prices to increase, and he's concerned what all of that is going to be doing. So, again, I have no inside baseball. This is what my gut tells me. Because reports came out on Monday that the Iranians walked away from the negotiating table and said there would be no more talks. And there was suspicion that that was just some of these Iranian bot accounts on social media, and that really wasn't happening. But then you have people representing the government saying that they're prepared to wait out Trump if any agreement is signed, and whoever the next president is, they'll just tear it up. So I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it because it is worth saying because of what's been happening in Iran. The deaths of at least 40 some thousand people, many of them young adults, and some of them teenagers. Um, why are we negotiating with a bunch of people we can't trust? It doesn't make a lick of sense. And meanwhile, I started seeing this yesterday, and this not necessarily new, but there are folks inside the country because there's with the blackout that existed on the internet, they are beginning to get the internet back, and we have been getting more and more and more videos of what was happening on January 8th and 9th when the shooting of citizens started. And what is so telling now, there are folks inside the country who are pleading with the U.S. and Israel and others who will give any amount of time to listen, that arm them, arm the Iranian people. And I can't believe for a second that the best intel organization on the planet, the Mossad, and a country and the intel agency for a country that's done a fair amount of mischief around the world, the CIA and the United States, um, doesn't have some kind of mechanism where they could get guns into the hands of citizens. And it's really simple. You arm the citizens and equalize the equation, and mind you, it would be a bloody takeover of the country, and it would be deadly. But the people who would be dying, I think, by and large, would be the IRGC, the besieged forces, um, and other people connected to the government. And a lot of people have been calling for this. Even I have. And it's long overdue for this to happen because of the factors on the ground there in Iran. So that's all I have this week for this edition of His Vine and Victory podcast. I'm going to put a fourth thing that's a quick little mention here. Today there was a Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, was making some opening remarks before a Senate committee. I'm assuming it was the Senate Finance Committee or something like that, because it involved the budget. And it's about a 5 minute and 50-second video. At about the 4:45, 4:46 mark of that video, it goes off the rails. You have to see this. Seriously, it's equal parts shocking and alarming, and just you're stuck wondering what. So I'm going to leave that as a fourth thing, and there's going to be a few links in the description of the podcast, and I would direct you to those to read and view at your leisure. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and new column dropping on Sunday on a topic that is gaining a lot of attention in light of some things that are happening in the midterm elections, specifically Texas and Maine. And that's all the teaser I'm going to give on that. And until next time, God bless and goodbye.